My name is Sheila. I initially worked in corporate America for Seabury Richard Ellis as a recruiter. Found out February 1st that February 27th would be my last day. So I had 1 month to sit there and ponder what I was about to do. The day that I found out, I was pulled into a conference room and told I had suspected it just because my workload had lessened. And you know that whole week of work, or the whole months prior to that, we were having our colleagues get taken into the room. Someone from Human Resources would come in, and it was like the death march. You knew when they went to a conference room that they were coming out without a job. So it was finally my turn. I knew exactly what was going on as soon as I was walking into the conference room. I was told on speakerphone. My very first thought was relief, because it was nice to not have to go to work every day and wonder when it was going to be me. So that was very nice, first of all. So the first actual emotion was relief. And I said, okay, fine. They gave me the rest of the day off, and I walked home and just thought, okay, now I have to get a huge bottle of wine and get wasted. That's what you do when you get laid off. Except I came home with this big bottle of wine and sat down on my couch and stared at it. And I was just listless and confused, hurt, scared as hell. And basically I was just in a very dismal state. At the time I actually was in a relationship, and that didn't work out because that ended the same day. So I lost the job and the boyfriend all in one day. When the next day came, I had to actually go back into work, so it was very difficult. Everyone came to my desk and cried when they announced it, and the month that followed was just taxing. It was difficult to go into a job that you really didn't have. I was there for the paycheck at that point. My workload just lessened and lessened, and I had to train someone. So it was just a month of I honestly had no idea. And I didn't want to think about what I was doing till my last day. So by the time my last day came, I'd probably lost about, I don't know, 15 pounds. And then, you know, the very first day after February 27th was March, and that's when I began to think, what the hell am I going to do? I had done the average sort of get your resume out there and speak to people that I knew and, you know, networking, but in this economy, like, it just, no matter how talented I am, it just wasn't going to work. So I began to just go inside myself and think of what I can do outside of the box. I absolutely enjoy not going into work 9 to 5, not asking people for time off and stuff like that. So I went back to sort of all my talents. One of my talents is massage therapy, as well as energy work, and I went to school for that in actually like about 4 years ago when I moved here. So I had that. Another thing that I've always been interested in that I've studied is tarot cards. So I added that to my list of talents. Another colleague of mine, as well as a friend, is an artist. So she was laid off prior to my layoff, maybe months before. So I partnered with her. She's a graphic designer. I'm majored in English, so I'm very talented with the written word. So she and I teamed up, and I started to promote her artwork. I also started to create websites with her. She did the graphics, and I did the writing and the picture taking. And from there, we just started putting our heads together. So I took these talents, the art dealing, if you will, and we started signing up for festivals in Chicago. Every summer we have festivals where you can be a vendor and you rent a tent and you sell whatever you have to sell. And that's where the tarot cards came in. So one festival, like the Belmont Sheffield Festival actually, I just put up a sign that I made with marker, tarot card readings. And this became extremely interesting. We had Sarah's artwork posted and this tiny sign that said tarot card readings, and this was very telling with the economy. Here we are at this fun festival with beer and food and great things to purchase, purses, you know, handmade everything. And the line for tarot card readings was 15 deep. And it was just interesting. And I didn't want to ask people for money, so I just said donations, please. I didn't want to set a set price. I understand everyone's problems with, you know, finances at this time. And here I was sitting at this festival, and person after person after person coming to me, and I'm giving them their readings, and it was that weekend I probably cleared several $100s, we'll say. And again, this is just donations, so I got anywhere from $5 to some people gave me 50. And it's an interesting way to kind of gauge what's going on with the economy and with people's lives, because here there were all these awesome tents that no one was supporting, and here I am, this person with a deck of cards, and everyone was just sitting in front of me asking, what's next, and it made my heart sing, and it made me realize that helping people in that way, and in spite of what's happening with the economy, is something that I really love doing. So that sort of took on a life of itself, passing out business cards, and turned into tarot card parties, where I've gone to people's homes and done readings for them and their friends, and actually feel like I'm making a difference, which was nice. And it was in contrast to what I was doing. I've realized that this is where I need to be, and I'm able to help people, give them instructions with the wisdom that I've gathered throughout the years, which is it's pretty decent actually. And then the other thing I do is energy work and massage. So energy healing is using the chakras in the body, hands-on. So once I do an initial reading with someone, I do their energy work. So I work with chakras. And if there's buildup in the emotions or in the throat, if they're not speaking, without getting into in detail, the tarot cards are a gauge for what difficulties they might have. And then I work on them with hands-on and heal them from there. So I went from a recruiter, desk jockey, 9 to 5, to sort of a healer, both emotionally, physically, and spiritually for people, which has just been amazing and actually financially rewarding as well.